Suzy Wrong, Joy Drive with Dee and Warren's film, TV and theatre reviewer.
Suzy Wrong, back on Joy Drive.
How are we today?
Hello, Suzy.
We're good. We've got square eyes. We watch all this television for you.
This week, it's the new Australian film UNSOUND. It is an ultra-modern love story for our age of newfound wokeness. Finn is a trans man who happens to be deaf. Noah is a musician who lives between England and Australia, a young black gay man who is struggling to find meaning in his work. Finn is an obstinate personality and Noah can be a little unfocused, but together we discover that opposites do really attract in this very gentle romantic story. Now, trans people are rarely given the opportunity to be lead characters in our storytelling, and in UNSOUND, not only is Finn placed front and center, they even let him find a really beautiful love. So for me, a person of trans experience, it is not only refreshing but unimaginably inspiring to see something so sweet yet authentic for a change on the screen. Warren, did you find it an unusual experience watching this gay romance with a twist?
You know what I thought of it? I thought it was a really lovely story. Look at, life, love and relationships. And I really enjoyed seeing the perspective of, a trans person going through that transition, also with deaf, and I think it opened up my eyes to a lot of issues that come up for both. The only thing I didn't like about it was I just felt like the relationship didn't hit the mark emotionally for me. That was the only thing that I didn't like about it, but I loved being exposed to the whole issue of, the deaf nightclub and the I guess the emotional I'm trying to think of the word, the energy of Finn going through that transition was really great to see.
Shall I put my 2 cents worth in?
Waiting to hear.
I liked the film. I liked watching the film, and I like to watch Australian film, and sometimes I feel I have to force myself to watch it. I really liked, same as Warren, I really liked experiencing that little snippet of deaf culture that we don't get to look into, and so I thought it was more of a film about deaf and hearing impaired community than the trans community. For me, that sort of outweighed it. For me, I thought that the actor who plays Finn, Yanni Pandelis, was fantastic. I thought she did an amazing job. My understanding, I think she goes by she, yes, and I think that they are deaf also. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
So Yana is actually a deaf actor.
Hearing impaired, I think.
Hearing impaired.
Yeah, she wears hearing aids.
Oh, okay, right.
But she had to take them out for the film.
Yes, I guess yes, for the visuals of it. I wondered how you would go with this, because I know that you'd support trans actors playing trans roles, and I know that people in the disabilities sector prefer people with disability and lived experience there playing the disabled roles. Was this conflicting for you, Suzy Wrong?
Not really. Ultimately, it's about disadvantaged people getting opportunities. And I think it's fantastic that they gave someone with a significant disability this opportunity. Because also, a deaf person in the center of a movie, you don't get that very much either.
Yep.
And I can understand, you want to find a deaf person who's also trans. It's going to be very, very difficult.
Yep.
And I think they found a queer woman who's deaf and she did a fantastic job.
She really did.
Yeah, I thought there's so much nuance and there's so sort of captivating watching the little bits of the character trying to get used to their own transness. It's really beautiful. I think both lead characters were so beautifully performed, but I agree with Warren. There is a bit lacking in the chemistry with the two for some reason.
But I did like the way that, for example, I didn't realise that lip reading was seen as accommodating, those who can hear.
Yeah.
And that was completely new to me. I didn't realise that at all. I thought, no, actually you're right. Why shouldn't we be making the effort to learn the Auslan and communicate that way?
You're right. There was more politics around
Yes.
the deaf culture than around the trans culture, which it's actually kind of refreshing. Like the issues, her main issue, because the Finn character has a very supportive father in Todd McKenney's Lewis, which is I'm sure he acted it well, but for me, and you've said this before in the reverse, Suzy Wrong, I found him unbelievable as a straight man, and I don't know why that is, because he's acting, and I really should, but it was beautifully acted. Their relationship is something special. So her biggest issue is actually dealing with her physical disability than her. I didn't buy the kind of, it was such a, it's nice and refreshing, I guess, that there wasn't such a drama around her transitioning.
Yeah, it's very 21st century that they have people that support them around, and they only live in Sydney, not in some country town.
Yeah.
So that's a really good thing to witness, and for me to see a trans person be worthy of love. That he finds someone so ready to be in love with him. I thought that was just amazing.
That was beautiful. That was what was so nice about that, Susie, is there was no hesitation. It was like I was waiting for the the how am I going to react to this, and how's the film going to deal with it, and it was just superbly done.
Yeah, and it just makes you think about your own definitions about sexuality, because the film starts with Noah being revealed as a gay man, and then falls in love with this person who is only starting their transition. And it doesn't talk about things very explicitly, but it confronted me a lot. And it made me think, why haven't I dated a trans man? What are my prejudices?
Yeah.
I think those questions weren't explicitly sort of spelt out, but they were very beautifully dealt with, I thought.
I thought it was interesting. Christine Anu plays the sort of friend of, not Finn, the other one. Sorry, I've forgotten his name. Noah. And then when he says that he identifies as a gay man, he's dating a trans man, and he's trying to explain to Christine Anu that he's fallen in love with the trans man, and she says to him, "Ugh, what's your mum going to think of that? You just convinced her that you're gay," implying that he's now not gay, but he is. He's just, and I thought we could have fleshed that argument out a bit more, like that misconception that
there are a
he's
lot of
not
spin-offs
gay.
that could have been investigated.
I wanted them to dig into that, because I thought, I'll put a pin in that. I bet they'll come back to that, and they didn't flesh it out. Also, Paula Duncan, brilliant.
She was brilliant. Now, I hated the character. I hated
She's
the
there
character,
to be hated.
but she did such a fabulous job of being the mother. Paula Duncan was superb.
Yeah, all these 50-something-year-olds were really good in this film. It was such a joy to see them.
I hope I wasn't negative about Todd McKenney, because I actually think he turned in a really great performance, and there's obviously an ensemble cast around the lead actors that I've obviously put a lot of effort into learning Auslan and trying to portray the community very well. So I thought it was good to watch. I hope it does well. I've been researching it, and it seems that it's been in production and about to launch for some time. So where is it getting its exposure in Australia now?
It's in the Melbourne cinema. Oh, I should have done my research.
I think it's Nova.
I think it's
Melbourne.
Nova too.
It's Nova.
Yeah. It's starting there, I think, this Thursday, and I don't know if they've got a date for Sydney yet, but hopefully soon. I know it did some festivals last year, so it sort of has started a little bit, but hopefully it gets to a wider audience. I think it's like many independent films, it's got its flaws, but it just contains so many things that are so pertinent to our lives today, and just such a new way of doing storytelling and looking at the world that we live in. I think it's so beautiful.
We're talking to Suzy Wrong about this Aussie film Unsound, which you can see here in Melbourne at the moment, starting Thursday
at Nova. Suzy, I think that who do you think it's made for, and who do you think should watch it?
Oh, maybe one of the things that I love about it is that it's made for everyone. I felt like it addressed me as a trans person quite directly, and it was very sensitive in a lot of things that it was talking about, and I felt that it spoke to me on a very personal level on many things. And I also feel like it also talks to the general sort of straight population. It wasn't sort of too challenging. It wasn't too radical. It wasn't difficult to watch. You know? And it had the romance in there that people are able to click into.
Yeah, it wasn't sexy romance. I think that's the point.
Yeah,
it just didn't buy any. But then it's first love, and they're both accepting different things. The thing I think it lacked was a real hate character. You know how in stories where you want a conflict and a big change, there's often somebody to really hate. But then it's good that Paula Duncan's character was conflicted and hurtful and complicated. But the neighbours, they sort of hated the noise, but they didn't really. There was no big
But did you feel conflicted, Dee, because of you've got this deaf nightclub and they want to feel the vibrations of the music, and did you also feel for the neighbours who were frustrated with the music? Because I found it difficult. I thought, I'm not sure which one, I want to side with there, because both have valid arguments.
I couldn't see past the crap logo I just wanted to get in there and redesign a little logo for the centre, because I kept thinking that's so unlikely. But, I thought it was interesting to raise all those issues and then not answer them too. Anyway, Suzy, it was great to be introduced to this. The film is UNSOUND. It is an Australian film. It stars so many wonderful old Australian actors, as well as some new young talents in Yana Pandelis and Reese Noy, who's actually over from the States, I think. Great stuff. Suzy, next week, what shall we do?
Well, next week we are covering a couple of movies from the Mardi Gras Film Festival, and one of the gifts that COVID has given us is that everything is streaming now, which means that no matter where you are in Australia, you'll be able to partake in, I think, the 90 titles available in the Mardi Gras Film Festival. I'm not going to make the two of you watch 90 films. We're watching two.
Which ones?
One's called Suk Suk from Hong Kong, and one's Forgotten Roads.
Suk Suk. Is that how you say it?
Yeah.
Suk Suk.
It's... I have actually seen Suk Suk previously, and I loved it so much I'm introducing it to you. It's about, I think, a man in his late 60s in Hong Kong, just finally about to come out.
The Mardi Gras Film Festival starts 18th of February and goes through to the 4th of March. Some things are streaming, but there are some live cinema performances in Sydney as well. But yes, in Melbourne we can certainly get online and have a look at that.
Now that's queerscreen.org.au.
Correct.
For the Mardi Gras Film Festival. So Suk Suk and Forgotten Roads for next week, Suzy.
Yeah. Suzy, you and I can have a watch party. We'll invite Warren.
Let's do that.
That's good.
Before Suzy goes, we are talking about pizzas today, Suzy.
Oh, yeah.
Uh-huh.
What's your favourite?
I can't do a pizza without pineapple. Do you know, back in the day,
no.
when I was a teenager, I would just go to a Pizza Hut on my own and I would order a pizza with just tomato sauce, cheese and pineapple.
Right. No, you see, well, you struck me as somebody who's a little bit more adventurous than that, Suzy Wrong.
I am adventurous.
You're just not in your food.
Now, Suzy, before you go, Chinese New Year this week, what are you doing?
Chinese New Year, every year we have the most important thing is that the eve off. We have a big dinner.
That's Thursday night, is it?
Yeah, the reunion dinner on Thursday. It's a smaller group of people this year because of COVID, but we are still having a little feast, this time in a restaurant in the city, and just being really intimate and, chosen family stuff.
Well, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year to everyone.
Gong hei fat choi. And will you be doing the fish toss? Because that is my favourite thing at the reunion dinner.
That doesn't happen usually at the start of. It happens, I think, week 2 or something. And then we've got to look for somewhere else.
Oh, well, see, because my family seems to do the fish toss at every single dinner we go to. I think it's just because they want the guaylo to have some fun with, some theatre.
It is very tasty. And it's very good luck.
Yes, it is, indeed.
Everyone's going to be...
We're going to play you out with a song by a track by Christine Anu called Colours of Your Life. And this
beautiful.
features in the soundtrack to UNSOUND, which is out now in cinemas in Melbourne. Suzy Wrong, thank you so much for your time.
See you next week.